My girlfriend looked me in the eyes and said, "I'm pregnant, don't ask questions." Something felt wrong, so I stayed quiet and watched. Late nights, secret appointments, and a friend acting strange. When I asked a doctor instead, one answer exposed a lie that destroyed everything I trusted. I remember the hum of the refrigerator behind her, the way her hands were shaking even though she tried to hide it by crossing her arms. The silence that followed felt louder than any argument we'd ever had. "Don't ask questions?" I repeated. She nodded. Once. Sharp. Final. That was the night I realized love can humiliate you without raising its voice. We'd been together for 3 years. 3 long, messy, beautiful years where we talked about everything: marriage, kids, names, where we'd live when things finally settled. Her name was Lena. She was the kind of person who laughed with her whole body, who cried during commercials, who made strangers feel like old friends, which is why this felt wrong, so wrong. I wasn't angry at first. I was confused. My brain kept searching for the version of her I knew, the one who would have jumped into my arms with a test in her hand, the one who would have cried and laughed at the same time. Instead, she stood there like she was delivering bad news to a coworker. "When?" I asked. She sighed, like I was already exhausting her. "Does it matter?" "Yes," I said. "It kind of does." She turned away, walked into the kitchen, opened a cabinet she didn't need to open, closed it again. "I just found out," she said. "That's all you need to know." I felt my chest tighten. "Why does this feel like I'm being managed?" "We can go to a doctor," I said gently. "Confirm everything. Figure out next steps." That's when she snapped. "No doctors. Not yet." I stared at her. "Why?" She finally looked at me then. Her eyes were sharp, defensive, almost rehearsed. "Because I said so." That was the first crack. The next few days were hell in slow motion. She avoided me, slept on her phone, took calls in the bathroom. When I touched her stomach instinctively, stupidly, she flinched. I started replaying everything. The late nights she said were work. The sudden password change on her phone, the way she'd gotten distant months ago, right after my business trip. I hated myself for thinking it, but the thought wouldn't leave. "Is it even mine?" I tried to talk again on the 3rd night. "Lena," I said, sitting on the edge of the bed, "I'm not trying to interrogate you. I just want to understand." She didn't look up. "There's nothing to understand." "There is when you tell your boyfriend you're pregnant and shut him out." She exhaled slowly. "Why are you making this about you?" That hurt more than I expected. "I'm not," I said. I want to be there." She laughed. Not a happy laugh. A short, bitter one. "You wouldn't handle the truth," she said. I felt my stomach drop. "What does that mean?" She didn't answer. That night, she slept facing the wall. I stared at the ceiling, counting breaths, listening to the distance grow between us. I didn't want to snoop. I told myself that over and over as I sat alone in the living room 2 nights later, her laptop glowing on the coffee table. She'd left it open, logged in. A mistake she never made. My heart pounded like it already knew. "Just close it," a voice in my head said. "Trust her." Another voice, quieter, steadier, said, "You already don't." I didn't go through messages. I didn't dig through photos. I went straight to her calendar. There it was, a private appointment. 3 weeks earlier. Begin clinics. I felt dizzy. 3 weeks ago, she'd told me she had a migraine and needed space. I'd brought her soup and left it outside the door like a considerate idiot. I scrolled. Another appointment. 2 days later. Same clinic, and then a note attached to the second one. Discuss option. My hands went numb. Option? I sat back, staring at the screen. My mind raced through possibilities I didn't want to consider. Fear twisted into something darker. When she came home, I was still sitting there. She froze when she saw the laptop. "You went through my stuff?" she asked. "I didn't," I said quietly. "You left it open." She walked over slowly, closed the screen like she was sealing a coffin. "You don't trust me," she said. I stood up. "You told me not to ask questions about a pregnancy that affects both of us. What did you expect?" Her jaw tightened. "I expected you to respect my boundaries, and I expected honesty." The room felt like it was shrinking. "Whose baby is it?" I asked. Her eyes flashed. "How dare you?" That's not an answer. She looked away. Silence stretched, heavy, damning. "Lena," I whispered. "Please." Her shoulders slumped. "Just a little." "I need time," she said. "That's all. Time." Another thing she wouldn't give me. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay there thinking about that note. About options. About the way she wouldn't meet my eyes. About how fear can look a lot like guilt. By morning, Something inside me had shifted. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done being confused. If she wouldn't let me ask questions, I'd find answers another way. That afternoon, I called a doctor. The woman on the phone sounded bored, professional, like this was just another Tuesday. "Can I help you?" she asked. I hesitated. My throat felt dry. "Yeah, I need some information about a patient." There was a pause. "Sir, we can't disclose." "I'm the father," I said quickly. Too quickly. Or at least, I'm supposed to be. Another pause. Longer this time. "What's the patient's name?" she asked. I gave it. Her tone shifted. Not softer, just cautious. "I can't give you details without consent," she said. "But if you have concerns, you can speak directly with the doctor during a scheduled appointment." "She won't let me come," I said. Silence again. Then, quietly, "If you're listed as an emergency contact, you can request confirmation of pregnancy status." My heart started racing. "Am I listed?" Keys clicked on the other end. "Yes," she said. "You are." I swallowed. "So, is she pregnant?" Another pause. I could almost hear the line stretching. "I can confirm that she had an appointment," the woman said carefully. "I can't confirm the outcome, but—" "I'm sorry," she cut in. "That's all I can say." The call ended. I sat there staring at my phone, hands shaking. She told me she was pregnant. The clinic wouldn't confirm it. And suddenly, a terrifying possibility hit me. What if she never was? That evening, Lena came home later than usual. Her hair was damp, like she'd just showered somewhere else. She dropped her keys in the bowl and froze when she saw me sitting at the table. "We need to talk," I said. Her shoulders stiffened. "About what?" "About the doctor," I replied. Her face drained of color. "You called them?" she whispered. "Yes." She slammed her bag down. "I told you not to." "I know," I said. "But you also told me you were pregnant and refused to answer anything else." She laughed, but it sounded hollow. "So what, you think you caught me? You want a medal?" "I want the truth." She stared at me for a long moment. Then she looked away. Again. "I didn't lie," she said. "That's not what I asked." Her fingers curled into fists. "Why are you doing this?" "Because nothing adds up," I said. "Because you won't let me touch your stomach. Because the clinic won't confirm anything. Because you had appointments before you told me." Her eyes flashed with anger. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Then explain it to me," I said. "Please." She didn't answer. She walked past me, straight to the bedroom, closed the door. That door might as well have been a wall. The next few days felt unreal. We lived in the same apartment, but barely spoke. She moved around me like I was furniture, ate alone, slept with her back turned. When I tried to reach for her, she pulled away. I started noticing things I hadn't before. No prenatal vitamins. No nausea. No doctor follow-ups. Just a story, hanging in the air, untouchable. On the fourth day, I ran into Mark. Mark was a mutual friend, more hers than mine. They'd known each other since college. I never worried about him. He was charming in a harmless way, always cracking jokes, always a little too comfortable. He froze when he saw me. "Oh," he said. Hey, I replied. "You got a minute?" He shifted his weight. Yeah, sure." We stood outside the cafe, steam rising from our cups. "She told you, didn't she?" I asked. He blinked. "Told me what?" "The pregnancy." His jaw tightened. "That was all it took." "How long have you known?" I asked quietly. Mark exhaled. "Man," my heart started pounding. "How long?" "A few weeks," he said. She was freaking out. She didn't know what to do. "And you?" I asked. "What did you tell her?" He looked at the ground. "I told her she needed to be honest." "With who?" I asked. He didn't answer. My chest burned. "Mark, look at me." He did. His eyes were full of something ugly. "I didn't know she was going to say it was yours," he said. The world tilted. "What?" I whispered. "She said she'd handle it," he rushed. "That it was complicated. I didn't know she was going to drag you into it like that." I couldn't hear anything else. My ears rang. "So it's yours," I said. Not a question. He nodded. "Once." "I'm sorry," he said. "I swear I never meant." I turned and walked away. I didn't trust myself to do anything else. When I got home, Lena was on the couch, scrolling on her phone like nothing in the world was wrong. I stood in front of her. She looked up. "What?" "Mark told me," I said. Her face went blank. "Told you what?" she asked, too calmly. I laughed. A short, broken sound. "Don't do that. Not now." She stared at me. "It's his, isn't it?" I said. "The baby." Her lips parted, closed. Parted again. "Say it," I whispered. She looked away. That was my answer. I felt something snap. Not loudly, just clean. You lied to me, I said. You looked me in the eye and told me not to ask questions. She stood up, defensive. I was scared. So you used me? I asked. You thought if you said it was mine, I'd stay. I didn't know what else to do, she cried. You're stable. You're safe. Mark is, not me. I finished. Silence swallowed the room. I called the doctor, I said. They wouldn't confirm the pregnancy. Her eyes widened. Because there isn't one, I continued. Is there? Her shoulders slumped. It was a scare, she said softly. A false positive. It's gone. Gone. Just like that. So you lied about being pregnant, I said, to cover up cheating with my friend. She started crying. I didn't mean for it to go this far, but it already had. I packed a bag that night. She followed me around the apartment, apologizing, explaining, blaming fear, stress, confusion. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I felt empty, clear. At the door, she grabbed my arm. Please don't leave like this. I looked at her, really looked. The woman I loved was gone. Maybe she'd been gone longer than I realized. Sometimes, I said quietly, closure isn't peace, it's distance. I walked out, and for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. I thought that would be the end of it, that I'd walk away, lick my wounds, and eventually become one of those people who say, it made me stronger. I was wrong, because betrayal doesn't just hurt you. It rewrites your memories, and once that happens, the damage keeps spreading. I stayed with my brother for a week, slept on his couch, barely ate. Every time I closed my eyes, I replayed moments I thought were real weekend trips, late-night talks, the way Lena used to fall asleep on my chest. Now every memory felt contaminated. Was she thinking about him then? Was I ever enough? Mark texted me the next day. Mark, I never wanted to hurt you. Mark, please let me explain. I didn't reply. Lena tried too. Long messages, voice notes, apologies that sounded more like damage control than remorse. I panicked. I was confused. I didn't want to lose you. Not once did she say, I chose wrong. That detail mattered. A week later, I went back to the apartment to get the rest of my things. I told her I'd come while she was at work. She wasn't. She was sitting on the floor, surrounded by tissues, like she'd been waiting. You said you'd text, she said. I changed my mind. She stood slowly. Can we talk? I nodded. Not because I wanted to, because I needed to see something for myself. She started crying immediately. I ruined everything, she said. I hate myself for it. I leaned against the wall. Then why did you lie? She wiped her face. Because if I told you the truth, you would have left. I stared at her. You don't see the irony in that? She flinched. I was scared, she whispered. I shook my head. You weren't scared of losing me. You were scared of being alone. Her silence confirmed it. I grabbed my last box and headed for the door. Wait, she said. What are you going to do? I paused. I'm going to stop protecting people who didn't protect me. She didn't understand what that meant. Not yet. 2 days later, I ran into Mark again. This time, I didn't walk away. He looked relieved when he saw me, like he'd been rehearsing what to say. Man, I'm really glad you're here, he said. I've been wanting to talk. Me too, I replied. We sat at a bar we used to go to after work. Same stools, same bartender, different reality. I never planned for it to happen, he said quickly. It just did. I took a sip of my drink. How long? He hesitated. A few months. A few months. While I was planning a future. She told me you guys were struggling, he continued. That you were distant. I smiled faintly. Did she also tell you I was thinking about proposing? His face drained of color. No, he said. Of course not. He leaned forward. I swear, if I'd known. You knew enough, I said calmly. He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? It means, I said, you didn't trip and fall into my girlfriend. He bristled. That's not fair. I leaned closer. You sat at my table, ate my food, asked me for advice, and then went behind my back. He opened his mouth, closed it. I'm not here to fight, I said. I'm here because you should know something. His eyes narrowed. Know what? I stood up. The truth has a way of catching up. I left before he could respond. Here's the thing about revenge. Most people think it's loud, explosive, dramatic. It isn't. It's quiet. It's passionate. And sometimes, it's just letting the truth speak without interference. I didn't expose them on social media. I didn't confront their families. I didn't scream. I just stopped lying. When friends asked why Lena and I broke up, I told them she cheated with Mark, then lied about being pregnant. I said it plainly. Without anger, people reacted on their own. Invitations stopped, including Mark. Group chats went quiet when Lena joined. Questions started circulating. I didn't answer most of them. I didn't need to. A month later, Lena showed up at my brother's place unannounced. He called me first. "She's here. You want me to send her away?" I hesitated, then said, "No, I'll come down." She looked thinner, tired, like the consequences had finally caught up. "I didn't think it would end like this," she said. I crossed my arms. "How did you think it would end?" She swallowed. "I thought, eventually, we'd fix it." I laughed softly. "You can't fix something you broke on purpose." Tears welled up. "Mark doesn't even talk to me anymore." That surprised me. Just a little. "I lost everything," she said. I looked at her, felt something unexpected, not satisfaction, clarity. "You didn't lose everything," I said. "You let it go." She reached for my hand. I stepped back. "I hope you learn from this," I continued. "I really do." She nodded. "Do you ever think we could?" "No," I said gently. "And that's not anger. That's self-respect." She left quietly. So did the last of my doubt. After that night, something strange happened. The pain didn't disappear, but it stopped controlling me. I started sleeping again, eating real meals, going to the gym just to burn off the leftover anger I didn't know where to put. Life didn't magically get better, but it got quieter, and quiet, I learned, is where healing starts. Still, there were moments when a song would come on and I'd have to pull over. Moments when I'd reach for my phone to text her something stupid and familiar. Moments when I'd wonder if I'd imagined the whole thing. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe everyone lies when they're scared. Then I'd remember her words, "Don't ask questions," and the doubt would vanish. 3 months later, the truth finally surfaced on its own. I heard it through a mutual friend. Apparently, Lena had told a slightly different version of the story to different people. To some, I was emotionally unavailable. To others, I was controlling. To a few, I'd checked out months ago. The stories didn't match, and people noticed. One night, I got a message from someone I barely spoke to anymore. Her. "Hey, I don't want to stir drama, but is it true Lena lied about being pregnant?" I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed back, "May. Yes." That was it. No essay. No justification. The next week, Lena deleted her social media. Mark stopped showing up to group events altogether. People didn't choose sides out of loyalty, they chose distance out of discomfort. The truth has a way of isolating liars. Around that time, I finally agreed to see a therapist. Not because I was broken, because I didn't want to become bitter. She asked me a question during our 3rd session that stuck with me. "Why do you think the pregnancy lie hurt more than the affair?" I thought about it. "Because it used my future against me," I said. She knew I wanted a family. She knew I'd step up. And she used that to trap me. The therapist nodded. "That wasn't betrayal of trust," she said. "That was manipulation of identity." That hit harder than anything else. 6 months after the breakup, I ran into Mark one last time. I didn't plan it. Life just has a twisted sense of timing. He looked rough. Dark circles, nervous energy. "Can we talk?" he asked. I considered it, then nodded. "I lost my job," he said quickly. "HR found out about everything. Apparently, office relationships aren't a good look when they involve lying and overlap." I didn't react. "And Lena," he hesitated. "She moved out of the city." I shrugged. "I heard." He studied my face. "You seem okay." "I am," I said. He looked genuinely confused. "How?" I thought for a moment. "Because I stopped trying to make sense of people who don't tell the truth." He swallowed. "I never meant to destroy everything." I met his eyes. "Intent doesn't erase impact." He nodded slowly. That was the last time I saw him. A year later, my life looks nothing like it used to. Different apartment, different routines, different standards. I'm slower now, more observant. I don't ignore red flags just because they're inconvenient. I don't mistake intensity for intimacy. And I don't stay quiet to keep the peace. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about how close I came to building a life on a lie. That part scares me, but it also reminds me of something important. I didn't lose her that day. I lost an illusion, and what I gained was far more valuable. Distance, clarity, and myself. The funny thing is, I used to think the hardest part would be forgiving her. I was wrong. The hardest part was forgiving myself. Forgiving myself for ignoring the signs, for explaining away the late nights, for trusting words when actions were screaming something else. That took time. But time, unlike people, doesn't lie. About a year and a half after everything happened, I started dating again. Not seriously at first. Coffee dates, long walks, Conversations that didn't feel like emotional minefields. I was upfront about my past, not in a dramatic way, just honest. Some people couldn't handle it. Others respected it. One night, I went on a date with a woman named Claire. She listened more than she talked. When I told her about Lena, she didn't interrupt or offer cliches. She just said, "That must have made you feel invisible." And for the first time, I felt seen. We took things slow. Painfully slow by old standards. But healthy. No secrecy. No emotional gymnastics. No. Don't ask questions. If something felt off, we talked. If something hurt, we named it. And the absence of chaos felt strange, in a good way. Every once in a while, someone still brings Lena up. "Whatever happened to her? Do you ever talk anymore?" I always answer the same. "No. And I hope she's okay." And I mean it. Not because she deserves access to my life, but because carrying hatred would only tether me to a past I worked hard to outgrow. I learned something important through all of this. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. Looking back now, the pregnancy lie wasn't the worst part. The worst part was being told not to ask questions in a relationship that was supposed to be built on truth. Because love that fears questions isn't love, it's control. And control always collapses under the weight of reality. If you're reading this and something feels familiar, if your gut is whispering things your heart doesn't want to hear, listen to it. Confusion is not a normal state in healthy love. Silence is not peace. And loyalty should never require blindness. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away without all the answers, because the right ones come later, in the quiet, when you finally choose yourself,